our crime tracker, KSLA, giving you the first alert. Shreveport police have arrested a man who police say confessed to shooting and killing his mother. That's correct, his mother. We brought you the first alert to the shooting in the 4700 block of 3L Westwood Park Drive. Upon arriving around 11:15 last night, officers found a 36-year-old LeDerrick Gant who confessed to shooting his mother, 59-year-old Sharon Gosey. Gosey was taken to the hospital where she died. 36-year-old LeDerrick Gant was arrested and charged with one count of second-degree murder.
This is the story of Sharon Gosey, 59, a mother who was murdered by her 36-year-old son, LeDerrick Gant, who had converted to Christianity, but what he did to his mother stunned both the family and the entire community. Many people praised Gant for choosing the right path, unaware that beneath all of the preaching and biblical scriptures was a man who would kill his own mother. Before we begin this video, we would like to express our deepest sympathies to the family and friends who were severely affected by this horrible crime. We would also like to send condolences to Sharon's family and friends. Today's case takes us to Shreveport. Shreveport is a city located in northwest Louisiana. The city has a population of around 190,000 residents. Shreveport is situated along the Red River in northwest Louisiana, near the border with Texas and Arkansas. It is the third largest city in Louisiana. Shreveport has a rich musical heritage, particularly in country music. The Louisiana Hayride radio program, which launched the careers of many country music stars, originated in Shreveport. On July 10, 2023, just before 7 a.m., police received a call reporting that a man was approaching a specific address and threatening to kill those inside. That man approached the house. He was armed and had an unusual amount of ammo, indicating that he intended to hurt everyone who was inside. When a man arrived at that home, he began firing even before he entered. He came across the man outside while firing on another neighbor. The culprit then shot his neighbor instead. After then, another neighbor confronted the culprit, resulting in shooting. When the police came during the exchange, the suspect began firing at them as well. The victims that the gunfire was aimed at managed to flee during this period. When the suspect realized this, he blocked the house. He shot at a young woman who was hiding in the room during this time, and she was regrettably hit by gunfire. Fortunately, every person who was shot will fully recover. The authorities attempted to talk to him after he barricaded himself to get him to surrender, but he refused. It was subsequently revealed to the police that the young woman he had shot was inside the residence. They were able to find her within the house using various methods and bring her to safety. The accused person locked himself inside his house. The gunman burned the house down a few hours after the confrontation, and he died there. Despite the fact that the suspect's name was withheld by the authorities. Dra'Marea Deon Gant is a man who barricaded himself in his house. It was also mentioned that Deon's disagreement with his wife was the catalyst for the argument. Deon was also Sharon Gosey's son.
A horrible event began to unfold out in the 9400 block of Crooked Creek.
Tonight, we continue to follow the incident at Crooked Creek that left 2 people injured with multiple rounds of shots fired. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Alexandria Savage. That incident lasted for hours. Tonight, KSLA News 12's Donna Kia shares new details in this bizarre standoff and shooting that ended in a fire.
It was all hands on deck on Monday as local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies all gathered to try and stop an armed gunman who had shot and injured one man and one 13-year-old girl on Crooked Creek Drive. Just before 7 a.m., SPD got the call that a man was going to go to a particular home and kill residents inside. That led to a long series of violent actions.
The man made his way to that resident. He began to fire inside of that resident even before he made entry.
After the man opened fire, SPD says he barricaded himself in the home. Police sent a drone in the sky to get a better view, but the man shot it down.
Not long after that, SPD deployed another drone, and the gunman also fired upon it and disabled it by shooting it down.
In the following hours, law enforcement noticed some smoke coming from the house.
The fire began to get more and more intense. Smoke coming from the house, smoke coming from all the windows. Flames began to come to the house.
Chief Wayne Smith says they believe the armed man had intentions of harming others.
That the person inside the house was well prepared to try to accomplish the mission of harming people with just an enormous amount of ammunition at his disposal.
Once Shreveport Fire Department was able to put the fire out, one person was located in the burned house. The Caddo Parish Coroner's Office picked up the body. An autopsy is pending. In Shreveport, Donna Kia, KSLA News 12.
In addition, Sharon had a 36-year-old son named LeDerrick Gant who had turned to God. He was under the influence of narcotics and has a history of convictions. He has a protracted criminal past as well. He entered a guilty plea to possession of Schedule 1 CDS on October 21, 2004. On November 8, 2004, he entered a guilty plea to burglary. Afterwards, he entered guilty pleas to possession of Schedule 2 CDS on March 17 and 21, 2011. Furthermore, he entered a guilty plea and was fined $300 for his second violation of marijuana possession. He also entered a guilty plea on September 20th to the charge of aggravated possession of a firearm by a felon, but the prosecution dropped the case. Although the charges against him were dropped, he was found in possession with the intention of distributing Schedule 2 in 2016. He entered a guilty plea to aggravated assault with a firearm in 2019, had his sentence reduced to simple assault, and was imprisoned for 6 months in the parish jail to pay court costs. Sharon didn't realize that her other son would be the cause of her untimely demise because she was still grieving the loss of her other son, Deon. Even though LeDerrick had gotten involved in narcotics, he had given his life to God and had turned his life around. His social media posts serve as evidence of this. Prior to now, there had been no mention of any issues he was having with his mother. Just after 11 p.m. on April 9th, LeDerrick called SPD dispatch and stated that he had shot his mother because she was poisoning him. The caller was persuaded by 911 dispatch to wait for patrol police outside the residence, and he did as instructed. He was charged with second-degree murder after being checked into Shreveport City Jail. When police arrived, they reported that they apprehended Gant without any problems and discovered a Sharon Gosey inside the house with multiple upper body gunshot wounds. The news release stated that Gosey was sent to a nearby hospital right away, but the next morning, in spite of the medical staff's best efforts, she passed away from her wounds.
Turning now to an update, Shreveport police have arrested a man in connection to a deadly overnight shooting. Police say 36-year-old LeDerrick Gant is charged with 1 count of second-degree murder. The shooting happened around 11:15 on 3L Westwood Park. Police say when officers arrived, Gant confessed to shooting his mother. The coroner says 59-year-old Sharon Gosey died in the hospital this morning.
Regretfully, nobody is certain of what transpired before this terrible event. With the loss of 2 family members, may the friends and family find strength. If you would like to stay updated with this type of content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the following video.